Oh, man. Patrick Dorgu. Ah, man. Welcome back to United View. Welcome to another Flex's View. Not one that I wanted to do. Not the news we wanted to hear this afternoon. As reports are claiming that Patrick Dorgu is set to be out for around 10 weeks with a hamstring injury, man. We saw him go down against Arsenal after his amazing goal, and we feared the worst. And in all the jubilant scenes, in all the excitement, in all of us being gassed, you kind of forgot about it. And it was towards the end of the night as well. I was like, oh, I hope Dorgu's all right. Hope that's only a couple of weeks. And Laurie Whitwell has come through with The Athletic. I'm going to give you guys a bit of context on this. Laurie Whitwell came through earlier with a piece that he'd written where they kind of, I think they were the first to go with it, really. Laurie Whitwell and Greg Evans from The Athletic. Manchester United's Patrick Dorgu is set to miss around 10 weeks with a hamstring injury. The 21-year-old sustained the injury while chasing a long ball in the second half of United's 3-2 win at league leaders Arsenal on Sunday, in which he scored a half volley from just outside the box. United are still assessing the extent of the injury, with a timeline still not totally certain. The injury is a significant blow to United after primarily being used as a wing-back under former coach Ruben Amorim, blah, 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 blah. But the main thing is that The Athletic have gone with he's set to miss around 10 weeks. And they've stressed as well that there's not been a specific timescale placed upon Dorgu's injury. And also Stephen Ralston, from the Manchester Evening News. He said Patrick Dorgu's injury is being assessed, and United sources have insisted no timescale for his layoff is clear at this stage, despite reports claiming he could be sidelined for around 10 weeks. First of all, penny for the thoughts, man. Penny for the thoughts of Patrick Dorgu. How unlucky, bro. Just when he's starting to get into his groove, just when he's starting to really, begin his Manchester United career. It's just starting to take off and ignite. Ballon Dorgu, Dorgy best. Like, he deserves all of the praise, all the adulation that's been coming his way with a fantastic turnaround. And such is life, such is football. He gets struck with a big injury. Now, of course, look, listen, these things, there's different grades of injuries, there's different type of injuries. Knowing Patrick Dorgu as how we know him from the outside looking in, he could be really positive about the situation, thinking, thank God I haven't torn it completely and need surgery, or thank God I haven't just done an ACL where it's the definite season ender, etc., etc. But what we do know from the little information that we have is that there's a reason why it's a speculation around 10 weeks. I think it's important to note it does seem as like a bit worse than first feared. But we have to wait. We have to wait for the scans. We have to wait for the assessment to be done. And also, what we're like at United as well. We don't really want to give timescales on certain things because, who knows? It could be longer. Maybe it's longer than 10 weeks. Maybe he may need surgery. Maybe he may need surgery, which means it won't be 10 weeks and it could be something like 5 to 6 weeks with a minor surgery. Or maybe he needs a major surgery for a complete tear. Where's Dr. Andre when you need him? So, look, what we know is that hamstring injuries aren't great. As minimums, they're a couple of weeks, to 2 to 3 weeks, as we saw with Dr. Andre. And in more serious cases, we've seen Arsenal actually with a lot of this type of injury. I think Saka had surgery on his hamstring earlier on in the season, as did what's his name? I think Kai Havertz had the same injury. No. Oh no, sorry, was it Gabriel? Maybe Gabriel had the hamstring one. I can't remember. Maybe it was all three of them. I can't remember exactly. But we've seen this, and it's common. And especially explosive players like Patrick Dorgu is definitely physical athlete, quick, direct. You have to be careful. You have to be careful with all hamstring injuries, but especially players like that. But just from a position from our side, it's just so unfortunate. We talk about solutions and what the team will look like. It's a big miss. What do we look like? Well, I think the most obvious thing is Matheus Cunha goes to the left wing. You've also got, Ahmad and Mbumo and Cunha, who are all capable of playing there if you wanted to have to change things up. But Cunha is obviously the one who will probably go there immediately. So it's an opportunity for him. But you just can't help feel it for Patrick Dorgu. And just when we're enjoying, there had to be a little dampener in it. Had to be a little dampener. You know, can we not just go on like a good run of positive vibes and news? And this is a real kick in the teeth, man. And you know what? More so on a personal for him, because I don't think that because he's injured now we'll lose our momentum and stuff like that. You know, you saw what Matheus Cunha did when he came off the bench. You know what sort of mindset he's in. Michael Carrick and the coach and staff will have a plan. So it's not necessarily the season's over and oh my God, now we're not going to get top four. It's actually less of that. It's actually just the personal side, like feeling sorry for him, if I'm honest with you. You know, I know a lot of people might talk about maybe going into the market now and what do you do? And, you know, because if Cunha gets an injury, you know, we need another backup left winger. I don't think we need to panic. I don't think they will panic, especially with what's been going on recently and all the change there's been at the club. We've still got one game a week, and since Carrick's got there, we've ticked off two of those games. So ain't we got, is it like 14 or 15 games left? No other competitions. You know, I think we'll probably be all right. If there's someone you can get on a loan, if there's something that came up that, you know, was a real short-term thing, then I'm not opposed to it. But what I am opposed to is going out and spending money in this period where Ineos are trying to get their heads together after absolutely messing it up with Amorim. I need them to have a clear head, because they need to fix some of the shit they've made and the problems they've created. They need to fix it. But fixing it is probably not going to be panicking because Dorgu's been injured quite badly. I don't know. Like I say, if something comes up that you can't say no to and it's just an option, it's just a straight loan to the end of the season that might not cost that much in form of a winger. I don't even know who that would be off the top of my head for a short-term loan, because again, the pool is very small. I don't think we should be doing anything permanent, you know? I don't think we should do anything permanent unless it's someone we wanted from before. So we've made enough like knee-jerk reactions for a season. We did it last season bringing in Ruben Amorim. We did it this season by letting him go under the circumstances. And yes, I know we're better for it now because Michael Carrick's doing what he needs to do. But we can't be getting silly and forgetting ourselves and making mistakes. So I don't think we should crash out and just go try buy someone for the sake of it. We don't even necessarily have to force a loan. It has to be the right player. There's no point just loaning someone for the sake of it. You don't want to upset the balance. You're probably best off saying, Cunha, you're going to hold down the left-hand side for the foreseeable. You've got Mason Mount to come in there on the left-hand side as well. You know, between Mbeumo looks like his new role could be in number 9/false 9. But we get so wrapped up in it's going to be this way, it's going to be this way. How do we not know Carrick's plan for the team is to get Sesko back involved? And he was just using Mbeumo for these two type of games here. Although he's in good form, by the way. He's a 2-2 at striker, so you probably leave him there. But I'm just saying, you have players who can, you know, do a job, because that's what he'll have to be, doing a job. And Matheus Cunha is not a natural left winger anyway. Patrick Dorgu, we didn't even think was, but he turned into that in the last couple of games. So, you know, it's down to the coaching staff to solve it. I'm more on a personal for the player. I just really feel it for him. Thoughts of him, hopefully he can get back as quick as possible, as fresh as possible, but we can't rush him. Let him have his time. It's a sickener, but one thing we've seen with Patrick Dorgu is, you know, he's had to face probably quite a lot in his first year at Old Trafford. A lot of scrutiny, a lot of pressure, a lot of change. The old manager Ruben Amorim, you know, publicly said how anxious he was on the ball, which was probably an honest assessment, even if he didn't need to say it in public. We could all see with our eyes. Played out of position at left wing back, didn't work for him, and he worked at it. He's been putting up those training videos. You see how incredibly hard he's been working, doing extras. So he'll be all right. He'll be fine. I just hope that it's not worse than first feared. I mean, 10 weeks is very bad. I hope it's not worse than that. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully he can come back sooner than that. And the reason why they haven't put the timeline on it is because maybe that's a bit wider the mark. And maybe it's 5 to 6 weeks or something. We will have to wait and see. So let's see. But best wishes to Patrick Dorgu. Absolute sickener. But we do have Matheus Cunha, who's going to be ready and firing from that left-hand side, and others have an opportunity to help out as well, and they need to step out. There's one game a week. There's no excuses. We shouldn't capitulate from this happening. You know what I'm saying? And we also shouldn't panic in my eyes. I see you for the Flex and KG show later on. Will be more vibes for the Asna fans. Don't worry about that. And we'll talk about going into the window. We'll see what KG thinks and explore it a little bit further. I'll see you then. Take care. Peace.